Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you everyone? Alhamdulillah. Ma'alish, the previous video has not been uploaded as I wanted it to be. Therefore, I decided to repeat it. Most probably, I'm going to repeat 1 and 2 together. Okay, I'm going to sum up the first video. Then I will add the other tips that are required. All right, thank you very much. Okay, first of all, thank you very much for watching. This is Hend Elkhayyal, IELTS trainer and an ESL teacher and instructor in the same time. طيب, a while ago we were talking about the band score descriptors for the IELTS, and we said that we have 4 main points, which are: number 1, as you may see on the board, and I know that my board is a little bit flipped. Number 1 is the task achievement, number 2 is the coherence and cohesion, 3 is the grammatical structure, and the number 4 is the lexical resource, or the vocabulary that you're using. All right, can you guys hear me well? Nabila, if you can hear me well, just write something in the comments, please. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me clearly. Can you guys hear me clearly? Please write something if you can. I can see your comments, and I'm afraid that your comments come a little bit late for some reason. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Nabila. You're of a great assistance today. Thanks a lot. All right, so we were discussing the band score descriptors, and we said that these are the most important 4 points on which our essay or our letter or our descriptive essay will be evaluated. Let's give a further explanation. Okay, let's give a further explanation. Thank you very much, Ruba, Ala, Alia, Nabila, and everyone who's watching me right now. So let's give a very small or short hints about what are the band score descriptors and what do we mean by each one of them. Number 1, as we said before, is the task achievement. And what I mean by the word task achievement, or what the IELTS people mean by the word task achievement, is: number 1, the word limit. We know that we have 2 tasks in the IELTS. We have task 1 and task 2. In task 1, you will be asked or required to write at least 150 words, and for task 2, you are required to write at least 250 words. For that reason, I said before that you have to get yourself very much familiar to the PDF worksheet on which you have to practice and get to know how many words you write per line, so that you will not be obliged to count how many words you write in the test, since the time at the test time is very critical. Therefore, please get yourself very much used to count the lines and count how many words you write per line. That would be the perfect idea, to get yourself familiar with how many words you write per line, so that if you're writing 10 words per line, then in task 1 you will have to write 15, but don't write 15, please. My advice to you is to write at least 18 to 20 lines, okay? And the same for task 2. Number 2, in the task achievement. Now I'm explaining the task achievement. In the task achievement, you have to determine whether they evaluate you again based on this question: have you covered all the points which are required or not? In each and in every question, they will give you the writing prompt. They will give you a writing prompt. In this writing prompt, you have to cover a certain number of points, like 2, 3, 4, sometimes 4 points that you have to cover. Whether you have covered all these 4 points or not, this is what determines your score in the task achievement. Also, whether you wrote sufficient details for every main idea or not. For every main idea, and as I said before, if you're writing the main idea in the beginning of the paragraph, then you have to determine whether you have enough ideas or supporting details to support this main idea or not. If you have enough supporting details, please start writing it. If you don't, do not start even writing it. And how would I know whether I have enough ideas to support this main idea or not, this is determined usually while you're doing your brainstorming diagram. Okay? Also, they care about the introduction, body, and the conclusion, whether they are written clearly or not. They are separated and written clearly or not. Again, this is one of the most important things that determine whether your task achievement score will be a high one or not. And finally, a clear handwriting. Clear handwriting means I'm talking about both I'm talking about both the general and the academic, both of them. I'm talking about the writing in general. All right, and again, the last point that you're evaluated on in your task achievement is your handwriting. You can write in cursive handwriting, also you can write in normal handwriting, but please make sure you capitalize whenever a capitalization is needed, and you write in lowercase letters whenever is needed. Cursive letter is acceptable unless it's unintelligible means that it cannot be read easily, it cannot be understood. Okay, so write the way you would like to write, okay, as long as it is intelligible enough, as long as they can read and understand what you wrote. Number 2, which is the CC, is CC is an abbreviation to the word coherence and cohesion. What do I mean, or what do they mean by the word coherence and cohesion? Coherence and cohesion means whether you understand the given writing prompt or not, and the way you respond to it is what determines your coherence and cohesion band score. They see whether your paragraphs are logically sequenced or not. Again, your paragraphs are logically sequenced or not. أفكارنا كده مرتبة ولا كل فكرة رايحة في ناحية. Okay? Your ideas should be logically sequenced. مش بس sequenced يعني ورا بعضها بس. They should be logically sequenced. Logically here means منطقيا يعني مرتبة منطقيا. Again, the number of the audience and the viewers is a little bit not satisfying me, so you guys, if you would like to share this video, if you see it a beneficial one, kindly share it with those whom you think are interested in this video, or whom you think sharing it with them would be beneficial. Okay, and jazakumullahu khair. So number 1 is the paragraphs, whether they are logically sequenced or not. Number 2, whether the ideas are well organized or not. Your ideas must be very organized. Again, the ideas must be very organized. So if you're talking about a certain topic, kindly make sure that you organize your ideas, whether they are similar ideas or almost the same ideas, or they are serving each other's in order to convince your reader with a certain point of view. Or if you're writing a certain point of view and then you're giving the opposite or the other party or the other way of thinking, okay, then you have to determine where to write what. Another thing, which is the MSD. MSD means that you should start each and every paragraph with a main idea, then in the same paragraph you continue with supporting details to this main idea and an example. Again, start your paragraph, any paragraph, start it with your main idea, then with some supporting details, and finally end it up with an example. An example, why? To convince your reader with whatever you're saying. And by the way, this is the best way for convincing anyone with your point of view. So if you want to convince anyone with your own point of view, you can easily start in this manner. Even your thinking, I'm not talking about writing. I'm not talking about writing in specific. You can also use this technique in thinking as well. In order to convince your listener or the person you're talking to, the best way to follow, or the best sequence you should follow is to start with the main idea, then with the supporting details and an example. Clear enough? What else? What else? Again, we have to bear in mind that we have to use linking words, transitional phrases, and transitional words. Again, coherence and cohesion means the way you understand the writing prompt and the way the IELTS people understand your own writing. And this wouldn't happen unless you use transitional words, transitional phrases, and also some linking words. Linking words to do what? Linking words to join your sentences, and transitional words to join your paragraphs. Also, they care about the space and the indent. Writing a paragraph, what makes the difference, what creates the difference, and what is telling your reader that you're moving from one paragraph to another, or what tells them whether you are done with this paragraph and you're moving to another one, is either leaving one blank line between paragraphs, or at the beginning of the first paragraph or at the beginning of each paragraph you should leave a 4-finger space indent, a blank line. Then at that time you are as if you're telling your reader that I am indirectly I'm indirectly moving to another paragraph. Finally, you have to include a very clear thesis in your introduction. A very clear thesis in your introduction. And the word thesis means that if it is, for example, an opinion essay, in the opinion essay, your thesis should be your opinion. Thank you very much, Vin, Shaima, Ella, and everyone. Ayatu, thank you very much for watching, and thank you for sharing this video with others. Much appreciated. All right, a clear thesis. Again, I was saying that, well, if you're in your introduction, if your topic is an opinion essay, then at that time I have to include my opinion and a short brief or a short brief of why am I convinced with this opinion. And then I'm going to illustrate these points in the body paragraphs later on. Understand? So the thesis here, if you're writing an opinion essay, for example, you should mention your opinion and shortlisted reasons for why this should be your opinion, or why is this your opinion? Why are you convinced with this point of view? Okay? Finally, in the coherence and cohesion, also you should write a very strong conclusion and introduction. They care about the introduction and the conclusion as well. So please do not think because some people, I have seen some people who think that, well, the most important thing is the body paragraphs. So I'm going to put all my effort and all my concentration while I'm writing the body paragraphs, the 2 or 3 body paragraphs. Because there I'm going to put all the most important details and supporting details by which I give or support my main ideas. Well, this is not the case. I'm afraid that sometimes the introduction and the conclusion are very important. They are equally important as the body paragraphs. So please make sure that you write a very strong introduction and even a stronger conclusion by the end of your essay. Okay? And now we're going to move to what's the third point? Wake up. I want to see you guys answering this question. What's the third point? Can you see my board? Come on, Ines, answer me now, please. The third point is, yes, that's it, which is the LR. And what do I mean by the word LR? Can you guys tell me? LR means what? LR means, Lexical Resource. Come on, you guys. I can see that you are getting lazier. Yeah? You just watch and that's it? Okay. Okay, so the LR means the lexical resource. And what do I mean by the word lexical resource? Lexical resource is your vocabulary that you're using, the vocabulary that you are using. Well, the higher range of vocabulary you're using, the better band score you're going to get. And what do I mean by a higher band score, a higher range of vocabulary words? Higher range of vocabulary words means that I'm not using low words of vocabulary. Like what? Like the most frequent, commonly used, the most commonly used words. Yeah, Ines, sabah al-khair, hello. Okay, yes, thank you very much for your answer. Lexical resource, yes. Okay, so the higher range of vocabulary words you're using, the better your score will be. Therefore, my advice to you is, number one, please try to avoid the low range of vocabulary words. Like what? Like good, bad, beautiful, fat, thin, tall, and these very frequently used words. It's better if you use a higher range of vocabulary words, and if you would like to have a deeper idea about synonyms and antonyms and how can you find these words, you just Google synonyms and antonyms to the most commonly or frequently used words. I think that you will find many lists that can help you get yourself familiar to synonyms and antonyms in the same time. Okay? طيب, is that all? Do I mean by lexical resource using high range of vocabulary words and that's it? No. Using, talking about the lexical resource or the vocabulary used. مساء الفل. Hello Rida, how are you doing? Okay. Talking about the vocabulary that you're going to use is really, it is very important to talk about the vocabulary that you're using, whether it's suitable and compatible with the genre that is given to you or not. Sometimes you'll be required to write formal writing or a formal essay. In the essay, you should write formally. Other times, you won't be obliged to write formally. Like, for example, if they are writing or if they're giving you an informal letter or a friendly letter or a semi-formal letter, then at that time you can easily use idioms, use slang language, or use informal language, which is okay, and you will not be penalized for using such words. So you have to determine what genre or what kind of writing you're writing, and based on this you determine what vocabulary you're going to use. Okay? And finally, using, as we said, using formal, semi-formal, informal, we're done. So we're done with the lexical resource point, and finally we're going to move to the last one, which is GRA. And GRA is an abbreviation to, مش هقول مستنية حد يقول. GRA is an abbreviation for what? I'm waiting. هقعد ساعة من غير ما أقول أي حاجة لغاية ما تكتبوا أي حاجة. GRA. GRA. Well, hello. Okay. Thank you very much, يا إسلام. يجزيك الخير أنت كمان. Thanks a lot. The GRA means, oh my God, my students are not that strong tonight. Okay. ايه رأيكم هعمل حلقة بكرة واسألكم كل الأسئلة دي. I'm gonna give you all these questions. I will ask you about everything that I have explained today. ايه رأيكم؟ امتحان مفاجئ. So, talking about the GRA means grammar, range, and accuracy. Grammar, range, and accuracy. Thank you very much. Grammar, range, and accuracy means what? Or what should I write? لا يا أحمد خالص مش punctuation. Punctuation is included. أيوة لكن it's not an abbreviation. GRA ازاي يعني abbreviation for punctuation؟ قول لي ملهاش أي علاقة ب punctuation يعني. Alright. So what do I mean by the word GRA? we need some examples to be able to practice well, please. Well then, oh, I like your English very much, but I'm afraid that you need to fix your spelling. You have an issue with the spelling. You have a lot of spelling mistakes, all right? Okay. Anyway, sure, definitely. I'm going to give you some examples in another episode, inshallah. I'm going to give you more examples for whatever I am explaining right now then, all right? Okay, now talking about the GRA, or the grammatical range, or the grammar range and accuracy. Number one, I have to be very careful with using variety of sentences and variety of tenses. Okay, variety of sentences and variety of tenses. Variety of sentences means that I have to use simple sentences, compound sentences, yes, compound sentences, complex and compound complex sentences. All right, again, using a variety of sentences. Sentences are four. In the English language, we have four types of sentences. When you say that my chair is very comfortable, then I put a period or a full stop. This is a very thank you very much. All right. ما بفهمش الاكسنت بتاعت البلاك امريكان. Black American's accent is a little bit different than the usual American accent, so that's fine. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting yourself used to listening to whatever accent you would like to be familiar with. All right? Okay. خلونا نكمل تاني. يبقى تاني قلنا there are four types of sentences. We have. Okay. Inshallah, ya Abdurrahman, you're going to get the highest or the required band score you would like to get, inshallah. Okay, simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentence. Simple sentence, as I said, I have a very comfortable chair, and that's it. Unfortunately, the adult American or English or Australian or whatever people do not use too many simple sentences after each other. They join these sentences together. So I can't say that this chair is black and this chair is black, full stop. It is very comfortable, full stop. I use it in my private room, full stop. That's not good. It's better if you just join these two sentences. If you join them using one of the fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so, then at that time you can say that you're done with making a compound sentence. If you're using one of the subordinate conjunctions, like what? Like though, although, after, before, when, while, if, unless, and so many other words that are included in the subordinate conjunctions, then at that time you will make a very successful complex sentence. If you're using both coordinating and subordinating conjunctions, then at that time you're making a compound complex sentence. خلاص؟ This means that you guys have to learn these lessons in order to master the most important grammar lessons that you have to master before you take your IELTS test. What are they? Number one, types of sentences. Types of sentences. Number two, tenses. I have to include a variety of tenses, but again I have to determine what is the most convenient tense that I have to use according to the given prompt to me. And then based on that, I use this tense along with other tenses that I see are convenient in this topic. Another thing which is, the IELTS people really care about your grammatical mistakes. If your grammatical mistakes are very major ones, then that would definitely affect your band score. If they are minor ones, it doesn't affect that that serious or that much in your band score. All right? So a mix of simple, compound, complex sentences required, and use as many tenses as you can. Also, the active and the passive voice is required. So that would be my third lesson that I have to learn. Active and passive voice. What do I mean by active and passive voice? In an active sentence, I have to mention who is the person who's done the verb, all right? Or what the I have to mention who has done a certain verb. What a subject is, who or what the sentence is about. So I have to mention who or what the sentence is about. For example, if I say that I drank my milk. I drank my cup of milk. So where's the subject here? The subject is I, right? Okay, so this is an active sentence or an active voice. Why? Because I mentioned the subject in this sentence. If you're not intending to mention the subject of the sentence, you can easily say that the milk was drunk. And you remove the subject, start with the object directly. Understand? Okay? طيب. All right. Great. Then this means that I also have to be very careful with using both active and passive voice. In some sentences, it would be really preferred if you use the passive voice, and vice versa. Finally, I have to be very careful with using with the punctuation and the capitalization. These are very important points to put into consideration. Okay? Again, I have to be very careful with using the punctuation marks and the capitalization because it affects your GRA or grammatical range and accuracy. Okay? Why is it important? Because punctuation means, you guys know what punctuation is. Punctuation means period, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophes, commas, quotation marks. These are the punctuation marks, okay? And they really matter. They make a big difference. Once I've read a very nice sentence, like you guys, you may be familiar with this sentence, let's eat grandpa without a comma, and let's eat comma grandpa. What's the difference between these two sentences? Let's eat grandpa is a sentence that has been said by a zombie because he's going to eat his grandpa right now. All right? Okay. So a zombie was going to eat, let's eat grandpa, let's eat him. But when you put the apostrophe before grandpa, this means that you're you're addressing grandpa. Okay? So please make sure that you put the punctuation marks properly and whenever are needed. Also, the capitalization is really important. We have to know that we capitalize, for example, names of people, places, things that have a certain name, streets, countries, and whenever, like titles, for example, titles for magazines, titles for people, and so on. These are the most important points to put into consideration or to take into consideration before you start writing. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll have another live video, and I want you guys to join in on the same page, and I want you guys to join in because I'm going to talk about writing task 1. I'm going to give you some examples, a lot of details, and a lot of writing prompts. All right? Thank you very much for watching. Please kindly make sure that you watch and share this video with your interested fellows. Thanks a lot for watching. See you tomorrow. Have a very good night. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bye.